but I deserve it more because of the fact that when I had the title before, I defended it like a true champ against any and everybody. So now, you'll see a totally different Seabrooks.
Conceding that Canizales was the more polished of the two, Seabrooks has taken on trainer Kevin Rooney, the man who took Mike Tyson to the top.
Well, Kevin made me totally different. I think he settled me down more. He taught me how not to get hit, how to move after I throw punches, and which that was something I always wanted to learn how to do anyway.
Well, you know, Seabrooks, he's a tough fighter. He's a durable fighter, and I expect a tough fight from him. But, you know, I have confidence I'm going to win this fight, and I train real hard, and I'm ready.
Two very special young men, two special boxers, and they are coming up for the IBF Bantamweight Championship when we return live to Atlantic City in just a moment. We're back live awaiting the appearance of Orlando Canizales, the champion, and Kelvin Seabrooks, the former champion and the challenger today, over 12 rounds. And I think, interestingly, a year ago when they met for the first time, Gil, it was the last 15-round championship bout. The IBF was kind of the holdout among the world organizations and staying with the traditional 15-round distance, and it happened to be that that was the last 15-rounder. Do you miss it?
Well, Tim, do you realize that the history of boxing would have been changed if we continued and we had cut back to 12 rounds a lot earlier? For example, Roberto Duran would have beaten Marvin Hagler, and there are many other instances. Tommy Hearns would have beaten Sugar Ray Leonard in the first fight. But but I do miss the 15-round distance. I think that's the championship distance.
Well, and I suppose television has to take a little bit of the blame or credit for going to 12, for that matter. Now, yesterday at the weigh-in, there was a minor controversy. You won't see it on the tape here because they got on and off the scales without incident. Canizales, the champion. There's Seabrooks, the challenger. And Canizales weighing in at exactly 118, the bantamweight limit. And Seabrooks coming in at 116.5. However, after Canizales got off the scales, manager Bill Reynolds of the Seabrooks camp complained that the scale wasn't really set properly and that Canizales appeared to be overweight. Well, the deed had been done. The commission had ruled him at 118, and so that's how it remains. But as you can see on the tail of the tape, kind of an interesting thing, the shorter man, Canizales, actually has a longer reach. We'll see if that has any effect. And Gil will talk about whether or not Canizales has a weight problem for the fight when we return. Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy back at ringside. And Gil, what are your thoughts on the fact that it's apparent Canizales did have a little problem making the weight?
Well, you know, Orlando Canizales has two advantages, Tim. Number one, he jumped on the scale, they said 118, and properly he jumped right off and drank some liquid, so they couldn't make him weigh again. So he's probably going to come in heavier than the 118, probably 123. But the other thing, the IBF has the fighters weigh in the night before the fight, not the day of the fight. So Canizales has had time to put on 3 or 4 good solid pounds in this time period. I don't think it's a good rule. I think the fighters should weigh in on the day of the fight, but it's an IBF rule, and I just don't like it.
All right, Gil, we're ready now for the ring introductions. Let's go to announcer Ed Darien.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Harrah's Marina and Hotel and Casino here in the better Atlantic City, New Jersey, the boxing capital of the world. Today's main event is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, the Honorable Robert W. Lee, President. The judges for this title bout, Rocky Castellani, Frank Cairo, and Eugene Grant. The man in charge of the scheduled 12-round IBF Bantamweight Championship, referee S. Steve Smoger. And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First, in the red corner. He's wearing the red trunks with the white trim. Weighing in at 116.5 pounds, all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina. He brings 25 wins, 19 by knockout, and 13 losses. The #1 challenger and the former IBF Bantamweight champion, here is Kelvin, the raging Seabrooks. Seabrooks. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with the red and white trim. He weighed in at an even 118 pounds. This young man is from Laredo, Texas, with a record of 21 victories, 18 by knockout, 1 defeat, and 1 draw. The International Boxing Federation Bantamweight Champion of the World. Boxing fans, here is Orlando Canizales. Canizales.
The referee for the bout is Steve Smoker, and he brings the boxers to the center of the ring.
Over them in the dressing room. Are there any questions? Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. God bless, fellas. Touch gloves. Let's go.
Judges at ringside scoring on the 10-point must system under IBF rules will be Rocky Castellani from Atlantic City, Frankie Cairo from Trenton, Eugene Grant from Plainfield, all from the state of New Jersey. And of course, the boxers from out of state, Canizales from Laredo, Texas, Seabrooks from Charlotte, North Carolina. Their second meeting, a rematch of an outstanding, exciting fight of a year ago, rated by many the best fight of 1988. Seabrooks in red, Canizales in blue. One thing we know in the history of Seabrooks is that sometimes he does have the tendency to take some punishment early. He's gotten off the floor many times and gone on to victory. Sometimes he has not.
Well, Tim, yes, in the last fight, he was down in the first round. And, you know, he stays right there. Kevin Rooney's been working on his defense, told him to move his head, but it looked to me like he's the same stationary Kelvin Seabrooks.
Round one scheduled for 12. IBF Bantamweight Championship, 118 pounders. Canizales appearing very relaxed all day long here. Talking with our Dan Jiggets earlier, and very confident, poised, and looks relaxed in the ring right now.
Well, both of these guys can punch, Tim, so I wouldn't advise anybody to relax.
Especially the viewers. Canizales, 23 years of age, the champion. Seabrooks, 26. Good movement there by Seabrooks under the combination of Canizales. Lands a right-hand lead, does Seabrooks. Canizales, an outstanding amateur career, 108 victories, 12 defeats, semi-finalist in the 1983 National Golden Gloves. Canizales with a good combination. The last exchange.
You can hear Kevin Rooney telling Seabrooks to bend his knees, stay low.
Canizales countering to the body. With a good stiff jab. Under the 30-second mark we go, round one.
Tim, in the last fight, Canizales was able to beat Seabrooks to the punch when they both threw right hands. And that was the big difference in the fight. Seabrooks has a tendency to lead with that right hand.
Final seconds of round number one, scheduled for 12, live from Atlantic City on CBS Sports Saturday. Canizales and Seabrooks. Overhead look at the champion, Orlando Canizales. Jesse Reed, his trainer, waiting for him out of the Houston Boxing Association, the stable owned and operated by Josephine Abercrombie.
What he's doing, he's trying to counterpunch you with the right hand. He's trying to set you should come out. All right, you've been going out to your right a lot. Pivot out to the left and come with a hook on him. He's leaning over his feet. Every time you throw the right hand, drop the left hook to the body. Okay? Everything else looks real good. You're showing your jab real well, and you're using your head. But the only thing is you're going out to the right all the time. Start pivoting out to the left a little bit. Make him look at a different look. Little grease. And a lot of feints, Orlando. Draw him into some exchanges. You'll win the exchanges. He's really, you can get him out early if you go to work on him. Stay here. Take advantage of the...
You're hearing Jesse Reed, and there's the challenger, Kelvin Seabrooks. Round number two. Scheduled for 12. Seabrooks in red. Canizales the champion in blue. I know it was music to your ears to hear Jesse Reed say, throw that left hook behind the right hand.
Well, Tim, that's what we work on in the gym all the time. Every time those guys throw the right hand, we say hook. But he said to throw it to the body.
Canizales got a little kind of a half uppercut in, 2 in a row on Seabrooks. And there's a good left hand from Seabrooks. solid jab from Seabrooks scoring.
Up to now, Tim, it's been one punch by Seabrooks, but 3 or 4 by Canizales. He's putting his punches together. There's an example of what I'm talking about. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right hand grazing the chin of Seabrooks from the champion Canizales. Seabrooks with a good right hand. And another. Left hook. Big one by Canizales. That rocks Seabrooks. And a right behind it. And Seabrooks bangs back to the body. Canizales coming up the center now, finding a little room up the middle.
Again, you can hear Kevin Rooney saying, don't wait. When you're not doing anything else, Tim, you should be jabbing. There's that good left jab.
Seabrooks right to the body. Seabrooks landing a right to the head, and then another right down the pipe, and a left hook to the face of the champion. Seabrooks putting some pressure on Canizales now here. Good left landed by Seabrooks, right above us, and another left, missing with the right. Final seconds, round number 2.
I like the way Canizales hides on the inside.
Canizales with a count. Great action in the final 30 seconds of round 2. Blood from the nose of the challenger Seabrooks. Let's go back early into that second round. It was a big left hook. I think we're going to see here from Canizales.
Good straight right hand, Tim. Short right hand. But I like the way Canizales is so comfortable inside. He can get those punches off inside real well. And now here's Seabrooks coming back. Nice straight right hand lead. There it is again. He's working that right hand overtime, Tim. But that's when the way he got nailed last time. Throwing that right hand too often, getting beaten to the punch.
Let's go to Dan Jiggets.
Tim, as you might have noticed, there was a delay in the start of the fight, and that was because there was some recalcitrance on the part of the Kelvin Seabrooks corner to come down too early. They felt there's too much of a draft here in the gym for them to come down that early, so as a result, we had a delay. Back to you, Tim.
Let's go, Kev. Let's go, Kev.
All right, we're ready now for round number 3. Thank you, Dan. This is Canizales in blue, Seabrooks in red. And a good, short, sharp right hand from Canizales to open the 3rd round.
Here's Seabrooks got nailed trying to throw that right hand lead, Tim.
Both fighters finding openings now and landing heavily in this exchange right in the middle of the ring. A right hand from the champion.
Good defense by Seabrooks then, Tim.
Still some blood from the nose of Seabrooks, but no real trouble. Right hand lead by Canizales, and that worked. He got 3 punches in behind it.
And Seabrooks' face is starting to lump up pretty good, Tim.
Left jab by Seabrooks, missed with that right hand, short. Blocks the left hook from champion.
Orlando Canizales is a complete fighter, Tim. He feints with his speed. He steps over to the side. He hides on the inside and puts his punches together. Look at that side-to-side movement.
And he'll sneak in that right hand lead to effect. Big right hand by Seabrooks. That stopped Canizales in his tracks.
That's what Seabrooks is going to have to do. He's going to have to hit Canizales on the chin and get him out of there because he's not going to outpoint him.
go in round 3.
Well, we mentioned that this would probably be an extension of the last fight. It certainly is.
Yes, it is indeed.
When they're both throwing right hands, when you have to keep your eyes open.
Each fighter's had just one fight since the last meeting. Big left by Canizales and left to the body back from Seabrooks. Under 30 seconds we go. Seabrooks lands, and then Canizales back with a combination. Another combination by Canizales. Coming to the end of round 3. Bomb throwing by both boxers. Round number 4, Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy. We've had non-stop action between Orlando Canizales, the champion in blue, Kelvin Seabrooks, the challenger in red. The IBF Bantamweight title at stake.
And Tim, basically what Kevin Rooney told Seabrooks between rounds was get off first. He said, don't wait. Get off first.
So far, Canizales has been the busier man, and that's obviously what Rooney's trying to mitigate against.
Well, his hands and feet are busier, Tim. Kelvin Seabrooks is a flat-footed target where Canizales keeps moving side to side. There he goes again. He hides on the guy, steps over to the side. Seabrooks is always there, putting plenty of pressure, but he's ready for the receipt every time.
Yep. Good left hand from Canizales countering. The body from Seabrooks. Canizales never fails to punch back. Blood from the nose of Seabrooks again.
Have to look for Seabrooks to land the big punch.
Orlando Canizales, his brother Gabby was the WBA Bantamweight champion. Runs in the family, and indeed he's spent a lot of time working with his brother in the past, sparring, training together. He came up from 112 to 115, out of 118.
There's that Canizales. He's such an elusive guy. It looks like he's right in front of you, Tim, but he never is. See that step to the side? That's the difference. Better defense and the faster hands.
A minute to go. Round number 4. Seabrooks. Good left and right from the challenger, Seabrooks, trying to pin Canizales on the ropes. Canizales works his way out of there without undue damage. No time for rest when these two guys are in there. Under 30 seconds we go.
And Kevin Rooney's using the old customado method. He's calling numbers, 7-2. I wonder if these guys have time to think about 7-2 when those punches are coming at you the way they're coming today.
Final seconds of the 4th round. The champion Orlando Canizales in blue, the challenger Kelvin Seabrooks in red. Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy were into round 5, scheduled for 12. IBF Bantamweight Championship live from Harrah's in Atlantic City.
Tim, we had mentioned before that the IBF has the weigh-in the night before the fight, which again, Canizales was the guy that was rumored to have a little problem with the weight. It should work to his advantage. Now, if the weigh-in had been this morning, perhaps later in the fight, Canizales would start to wear out, but he's had time to bring himself back. I like that little move that he takes, that he slides over to the side. And Kelvin just keeps stalking him, looking to throw that big right hand.
A little bit of an abrasion under the right eye of the champion Canizales. There has been blood from the nose of the challenger Seabrooks since round 2. But neither little injury, anything to worry about at this point. left to the ear scored by Seabrooks over the right hand of Canizales. It is safe to say that Seabrooks has been better defensively, even though he hasn't shown much more movement. He has been blocking punches better this fight.
I see a big improvement now that Kevin Rooney's been working with him up in the Catskills. He is better defensively, but again, he's in with a real sharpshooter.
Now that's a point well taken. Canizales, a very accurate puncher, and a busy one at that.
There's that slide over to the right again.
You hear Kevin Rooney calling out the numbers of the combinations he wants from Seabrooks again. Under a minute to go, round 4. An uppercut landed by Canizales. And a right hand, round 5, pardon me. Seabrooks a little short with the right hand.
The big difference in this fight right now, Tim, is the maneuverability and the footwork of Canizales. Seabrook is flat-footed. You can always find him with a punch. Canizales is much more elusive.
30 seconds to go. I can recall you're comparing him in style and indeed somewhat in looks to the young Roberto Duran.
Yes, he reminds me very much of Duran when Duran beat my guy Kenneth Buchanan for the lightweight title.
Seabrooks landed a good left hand. That got Canizales' attention. That's what he has to do. But there's a right hand back. Seabrooks in trouble. Canizales jumps on him. Final seconds of round 5. Seabrooks had just landed his best punch of the fight, and Canizales came right back and rocked the challenger into the ropes.
Be smart. Don't breathe out your nose. Don't breathe out the nose. It's fine.
Let's take a look at that action right near the end of the round at about 10 seconds to go.
There we see Seabrooks missing that right hand, Tim. And Canizales takes full advantage of it by nailing him with a straight right hand of his own. And that's the way Seabrooks got in trouble in the last fight. Throwing too many right hands.
Now listen, he's hitting you with right hands just a little bit because what you're doing, you're not coming back on it. Make him pay when he throws the right hand. He'll quit throwing, all right?
That's Jesse Reed, trainer of Orlando Canizales.
You look good. Keep double shifting on him. I want you going right and left, both sides. Set him up for the hooks. You can get him with a hook. Here you go. You're forgetting your hook, all right? Don't reach with it. I got you.
So you can see Jesse Reed, even though his fighter finished the round well and had Seabrooks in a little trouble, was more concerned about the right hand that he had taken just seconds earlier. We're into the 6th round, scheduled for 12. The champion, Canizales in blue, Seabrooks in red. Another action fight, as we had a year ago between these two young men.
You know, Kevin Rooney had told Seabrooks to get off first, but now he's standing there trying to figure things out. He should be snapping that jab.
And he just took a hard left hook from the champion. Kevin Rooney imploring him to keep the right hand up after that hook land. Another left lands. Carol Seabrooks, Kelvin's wife, here at ringside.
And Seabrooks is starting to push that left hand now, Tim, instead of snapping it. That can be very dangerous.
Low blow warning to Seabrooks from referee Steve Smoger. He's otherwise not had a lot to do. These two guys have been busy. They haven't been clinching.
Well, Tim, we have well-conditioned fighters and a well-conditioned ref. That helps.
Indeed. Kelvin Seabrooks let a little war whoop as Canizales landed a combination, but Canizales just fired another one.
And Canizales just got rocked,
Yes,
Tim.
he did. A right hand from Seabrooks.
Got rocked.
Yeah, this movement by Canizales is his first kind of defensive movement. He's going backwards here. Seabrooks on the attack. Left landed by Seabrooks.
And look at the maneuverability on Seabrooks now, side to side, inside. He may have learned something from Canizales.
Under a minute to go in round number 6. It just takes Seabrooks 5 or 6 rounds to get warmed up. He seems to do his best just about now as he did in the last fight. He won the middle round.
That's been his history, Tim. Slow starter.
Enjoying the combat. 30 seconds into round number 6.
Now Seabrooks is slipping, but he should be punching more.
Canizales definitely going backwards more here since that good shot from Seabrooks. Final seconds of the 6th round. Round number 7, the challenger Kelvin Seabrooks now having a little problem with his right eye. He had a good round in number 6. We scored that for him. But that right eye starting to close from the punishment absorbed at the hands of the champion Canizales.
And Mike Hall tried to work on that eye, Tim, but he didn't open it up very much. It's almost completely closed.
On our scorecard, we've got 4 rounds for Canizales, 2 for Seabrooks. No 2-point rounds scored as yet. There have been no knockdowns. Into round 7, scheduled for 12. Scored by the champion.
You see the difference. Seabrooks the straight line guy, Canizales the side-to-side guy.
I think also that Canizales is a little more wary than he was prior to round number 6, though, Gil.
Well, he got wobbled, Tim.
He sure did. Slapping the left to the ear of the champion. He pops the jab back.
No hook back that time. Jesse Reed will get after him for that one.
Well, he's a little short with his punches now.
Yeah, he's trying to punch and get out of the way at the same time, Tim. You can't do that.
Lunging right hand from Seabrooks. It's left. Canizales short again. Definitely off the rhythm he showed in the first 5 rounds. Under a minute to go. Round 7.
Seems to me as if Canizales may have hurt his right hand, Tim, because after he landed that right hand, he winced and shook his right hand a little bit. May have a bad right hand.
Well, mind you, that little habit, we just saw it again there. It is, I think it's a habit, Gil. We saw it in the last fight. In fact, we commented on it at that time, not to say it may not be hurt, but he has done it earlier in the fight. Under 30 seconds to go. Almost as though he's trying to get loose with it, but a little bit dangerous. Neither fighter landing effectively in that exchange. We come to the final seconds of round number 7. Live from Atlantic City on CBS Sports Saturday. Seabrooks and Canizales.
You're looking at one.
Well, there's a look at Kelvin Seabrooks. You can see the eye nearly closed and blood from the nose, but we're into round number 8. Live from Atlantic City.
I like the way Orlando Canizales got off his stool as if to say, okay, now it's going to be all business. He looked like a different guy walking out of the corner.
Well, and he's put immediate pressure on. And we're told from Dan Jiggets between rounds that as far as he can tell in that Canizales corner, they say nothing wrong with the right hand of the champion. Seabrooks definitely will have a vision problem. The rest of the way, though, on the right eye, almost closed. A little more swelling under the right eye of the champion, Canizales. No knockdowns thus far, but a lot of tough punches absorbed by both guys.
Canizales is not punching with the conviction that he punched with earlier, Tim. Still making those moves, though, those side-to-side moves that are bothering Seabrooks so much. Again, Seabrooks is putting pressure on, but forgetting to throw punches.
Is that the key, Gil? What do you tell Seabrooks here about how to attack this guy? How do you hit him?
You have to, Tim, I always say, if you can't hit a guy with a jab, you're not going to hit him with any other punch. So as he's moving after him, he should be feinting the jab, throwing one jab, throwing two jabs. But work off that left jab, but keep it busy. Don't just try to look for a big opening. They don't take place.
Landed a good right hand. Got Canizales' attention again, and he knows it. Canizales on the ropes, and Seabrooks trying to find an opening, gets a left in, a right counter from the champion. Under a minute to go, round 8. Seabrooks unable to really capitalize for that opportunity after his good, solid right.
Then they take turns. Now it's Canizales coming on.
And no rest for the wicked in this fight either. They have not stopped punching since the first bell. Under 30 seconds to go. Round 8. Left hook.
Beautiful move by Canizales. Absolutely beautiful move.
Backing up Seabrooks some now. The left wobbles him. Back to the ropes. Canizales jumps on him here. The end of round number 8. Canizales in some trouble in the corner. Seabrooks, we're looking at Kelvin Seabrooks. Canizales had him pinned up against the ropes with a good left hand that sent him reeling back into the ropes. How you feel? No, open up, open up.
And the doctor is
look him up, open him up. That's good, Kevin.
Kelvin Seabrooks.
Okay, Doc?
Very game guy, and he's in the fight, Tim, but he's taking a battering. Let's take a look at this replay now. There's that first short left hook. And you see Seabrooks continues to try to punch back. There's that little in and out by Canizales that's so effective. Doesn't look like he's doing much, but just that little in and out does the job.
Right and the left, sending Seabrooks back to the ropes. Live in the corner now, Kelvin Seabrooks.
Don't wait till you get hurt to go after this kid. Go after this kid now. Go after him right now. Right
Commission
now.
doctor came in,
Right hand up, hook
took
with
a
him.
look. He's now
Beat him with the
discussing
hook. Go after him
the
just now.
situation with Steve Smoger, the referee. Round number 9 upcoming. Scheduled for 12. And again, Canizales flying off the stool. Let's go a combination. Seabrooks still wobbling.
But he's punching back, Tim.
Yes, he is. Canizales trying to get some pressure on him.
You see how cool Canizales is? He just doesn't walk in and punch. He sets you up beautifully. In and out, side to side.
Two left hooks, and that bothered Seabrooks. Right on the eye that's bothering him. Punches back with the right to the body. He's definitely having trouble seeing. The doctor's on his feet, looking closely at him. Canizales.
And then you see Canizales throw those punches and then hide. Go over to the side, come back again, set things up again. What a cool kid he is.
Eye almost closed. The right eye of Seabrooks. The doctor watching closely, as is referee Steve Smoger.
And Canizales is a little tired now, Tim. He's worked very, very hard. Mouth is wide open.
Oh, we've seen the same work ethic we saw in the first fight that went into the 15th round before Canizales finally stopped Seabrooks to win the title. Seabrooks definitely having trouble seeing out of that right eye, trying to cover up as best he can. Still throw the right hand. That's tough duty. Game 26-year-old challenger from Charlotte, North Carolina. Fighting now virtually one-eyed into the 9th round. Lands a big right hand.
Tim Canizales is trying to take a little rest, and he's letting Seabrooks back in. He's a little tired.
And to the minute mark we go in round 9. Seabrooks keeps coming forward, trying to land that big right-hand bomb that would turn this around for him. Right hand by Canizales got through.
He sets things up so beautifully, then he comes back with his combinations. But Canizales is definitely a tired young man right now.
Final seconds of round 9. This is scheduled for 12, the IBF Championship distance. Back in Atlantic City, round number 10. See if we can find out from Dan Jiggets what the Dr. Charles Wilson has to say about that eye.
Tim, I'm sitting alongside the doctor ringside. He said the problem is that right eye of Kelvin Seabrooks is starting to close, and as a result, he cannot see left hooks coming out of, and certainly Orlando Canizales has been taking advantage of that. Back to you.
All right, Dan, so they'll watch it very closely. Both the doctor and the referee, Steve Smoger. We're into the 10th. It is a championship fight. They'll give the challenger every reasonable option without exposing him to any serious injury.
And Tim, Canizales starts out every round, and he really does a job on Kelvin Seabrooks in the first minute, but then he runs out of gas a little bit. Starts out every round after that minute rest real well.
He's doing that. He's touching the body. Break it up. Pick it up, Danny. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. That's it. Put it back.
Solid left jab from Seabrooks.
He continually puts pressure on Canizales, always in front of him.
Kevin Rooney wants the 8-2, whatever that is.
Well, a straight right hand landed, Tim. Whether that's the 8 or not, I don't know, but a straight right hand landed. And you know, I can see a definite improvement in Kelvin Seabrooks. There he goes, weaving under punches again. He never did that in the past. Kevin Rooney's done a good job on Seabrooks. Win or lose this fight. Seabrooks just keeps coming back for more punishment, and Canizales is dishing it out.
Under a minute to go. Round number 10.
Seabrooks is going to have to take some chances now, Tim. He's going to have to start to throw that long, straight right hand to take a chance that Canizales won't counter. He's going to have to hit Canizales and hurt him to get into this fight.
Seabrooks scoring to the body there. Right to the ear. Champion Canizales, left to the forehead, and he bangs away from the ropes.
Seabrooks is starting to wear down again, Tim. Hey, I'd better take a good look at Kelvin Seabrooks between rounds.
Final seconds of the 10th. The slugfest of the bell. Round number 11, Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy with Dan Jiggets at ringside, watching Orlando Canizales and Kelvin Seabrooks, and Kevin Rooney in the Seabrooks corner. Told his fighter he's behind on points. He has to win by a knockout. And we would agree with that based on our unofficial scorecard.
And Tim, Kelvin Seabrooks finished the last round throwing punches, and Kevin Rooney said, go out the same way, but he didn't go out the same way. Canizales took over right away as soon as the bell rang.
Canizales now working the body and the head with Seabrooks pinned in one place.
Tim, they had better watch Kelvin Seabrooks. Sometimes a fighter has too much courage for his own good. And he's taking a pounding now, a bad pounding.
Okay.
And that's enough. Steve Smoger steps in and says that's enough for Kelvin Seabrooks. Taking that punishment right above us, and had no argument when Steve Smoger stepped in. And Orlando Canizales has retained his IBF Bantamweight Championship with an 11th round stoppage of Kelvin Seabrooks, a game and brave challenger. And there they are, two outstanding young men and exciting young boxers. And we'll be back with more from Harrah's in Atlantic City in just a moment. We're back looking into the corner of Kelvin Seabrooks, who just taken a little too much punishment and was unable to go any farther. Steve Smoger recognized that as Seabrooks literally put his hands down, stepped in and stopped the fight in the 11th round. And let's go back into the 11th round as they continue to work on that right eye. There's the champion, Orlando Canizales, and back into the 11th round action. You can see that solid left hook there really did some damage, and Seabrooks unable to punch back, and Canizales now scoring at will, and Seabrooks unable to see and really in difficulty here. Steve Smoger, the referee, watching very closely. Seabrooks unable to punch back, and right there you can see him saying, that's it, Steve, I can't do any more here. He literally stopped the fight himself, but he certainly was a game performer, as we've come to expect from Kelvin Seabrooks. And there's the champion, Orlando Canizales. For the official result, let's go to the ring announcer, Ed Darien.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Double S Steve Smoger stops this bout at 47 seconds of the 11th round, and a winner by a TKO. And still the International Boxing Federation Bantamweight champion, Orlando Canizales.
Orlando Canizales. Here's the defending champion. Maybe we can get Kelvin Seabrooks over here as Bob Lee from the IBF brings the champion's belt out. Well, you two guys did it again. That's all I can say. It was a lot like the first one. Did you have any reason to expect the same kind of a fight, Orlando?
Well, I knew, you know, Seabrooks is a tough individual, and I knew it was going to be a tough fight. Yeah. And that's
in a lot of other fights, you would look like the loser. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you'll see that. However, Kelvin Seabrooks, I must say, looks a little worse. That's quite a bad lump.
Yeah, right. It's boxing.
Hey, it was a war. Yeah. It was a war.
Every time we fight is a war.
Yeah.
Kelvin, I know at the end of the 10th round, Kevin Rooney said you had to win by a knockout or stay on the stool. You wouldn't stay on the stool, of course, but you knew when it was over, didn't you?
Right, that's what I figured, you know, I go down fighting. And, you know, like I said, Canizales is a great fighter. And, you know, he's done a lot as far as boxing goes, and he reached his goal. True champ.
All right, you going to keep going, Kelvin?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And Orlando, what about you? What, have you got a target in mind?
Kind of hard. Well, right now, you know, I'm just, I'm exhausted. It was a tough fight, and, you know, Seabrooks, I give a lot of credit. He's a tough fighter.
You are two exciting young boxers, and you're two terrific guys. We thank you for being with us again.
You know, big things come in little packages.
That's right. Big things come in little packages. 118-pounder. All right. The champion, Orlando Canizales, former champion Kelvin Seabrooks.